Well, hello. All right, relax. You're going to be okay. All right. It is your bro. It's me. I always been there for you. Always had your back. I always been the wind beneath your wings. You understand? Even when you didn't know I existed. But you know what does exist? You know what needs to exist. You know what's about to exist. It's the six pass commandments. Six pass dice here. Mr. Lane, if you need me, how y'all doing? So, y'all see the title. You know what's up. You know what's up when I'm rolling up. Kamal, what up? I'm in here. We'll have us a little conversation. Because in my travels and just doing awesome black guy stuff. Oh, shit. You know, I'm over here talking and my mic is not plugged in. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Oh, no. We're going to do a whole new intro. Hold on, make sure my mic is on right. Ooh, I'm so sorry about that. I gave God that. I know that intro sounded rough. My bad. Hold on. We were talking about what needs to exist and speaking things into existence. All right? And you know what's about to exist? The six pass commands. Six pass dice here. Mr. Lane, if you need me, we're in this thing, beloved. So, in my many travels, you know what I mean, in my many revelations that I have on a regular basis, I started realizing there was a connection that I wasn't aware of. And that was the connection between Kamala Harris and Drake. And for the most part, we kind of don't realize that a part of our culture is selective outrage and kind of picking and choosing who we accept certain behaviors from or who we accept certain traits from. And black people like to do this thing where we pick and choose when someone is black, especially if they're not chocolate. If you're not chocolate, your blackness is always up for questioning. It's always questionable. All right. Or you're always kind of made to feel like you're not as black as the next, which is a weird concept. So, but you're not as black as the next person. And what's interesting is that I remember when I first went to a hood school, and for the most part, the boys were trying to help me learn how to survive and whatnot, and trying to help me kind of present myself a little better. And what they were prepping me for or helping me to understand was this is how it is when you're in basically a really, really rough environment where all the kids do not know how to be good people. And I used to always bother me. I'm like, wow, like when, you know, I remember like the first time I was a kid, I got jumped. But no, yo, how you see two people and say, yo, these two are getting their ass kicked? And it wasn't like we was like, they weren't the robbers or anything like that. They just seen two dudes, just two 11-year-olds and said, I think I was like 12, 11. Yeah, I think I was like 11 and a half. An 11 and a half-year-old and just beat the hell out of him for no reason. That shit was wild. But anywho, I remember thinking like, what can make a person do that? But I didn't realize that I didn't relate to that because I had a family that loved me. I was brought up a certain kind of way, but years later I understand now that what they were trying to teach me was how to be a nigga amongst niggas. You know what I'm saying? How to basically to kind of not so much degrade yourself, but bring your humanity down a little bit, but be a little more of a savage. And don't get me wrong. Listen, experiencing that shit, going to school in the hood, it makes you so much more confident. You appreciate things so much more. Yo, hold on, y'all. I'm making pork tenderloin. Who can relate? Oh, you know what? I thought I put a timer on. I did not put a timer on. Give the tender pork loin is finished. We can continue. So anyway, so in my travels, you know, I came across the post on Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and share this with y'all. And we're going to read it together. And then we're going to go through a few comments. You know how we do. You know how I does this. You understand? So I'm not sure which one comes first. But you know what? For the sake of my story, I'll read this, the one on the bottom. Not Like Us is a diss track addressing how a rapper actively participates in the culture while ignoring black struggles. They're loud with the costume but silent with the bigger picture. The song wasn't about Drake being mixed. And I came across a few posts. So one lady says, so that would mean Kamala isn't either. And the next one says, either way you put it, the shoe fits her feet. But if the song wasn't about him being mixed, why did Kendrick constantly call it out and even told him to stop saying nigga? Y'all be real selective when y'all want it to fit y'all points. Someone else says this is exactly why Donald Trump is going to win. MAGA always shows up for their boy with no question. Someone else says just vote Kamala, the rest is nonsense. And here's a really good one. Someone says, what is people's obsession with thinking they are the black police? What the F do people think they get to determine people's blackness? This is sick. I'm gonna read it again because I was, these people don't be writing in like perfect grammar. What is people's obsession with thinking they can? I'm sorry. What is people's obsession with thinking that they are the black police? What the F do people think they get to determine? I'm sorry. Why the F do people think they get to determine people's blackness? This is sick. All right. I think what else? Someone else asked, what has Kendrick done for our people other than a couple of songs and a nice performance? Drake has done more for black culture than Kendrick has. He's put on multiple black rappers that are successful today. Who's Kendrick put on and what has he done? Matter of fact, we're gonna stop it right there and get into what you ninjas love, which I want. Y'all love when I talk about this Drake and Kendrick thing. No. I don't think Kendrick won. I'm sorry, Bossy Boy. Sorry. I don't think Black Jesus won. I don't think rapping Dr. Sebi won. That's who Kendrick is. Rapping Dr. Sebi. Don't get me wrong. I'm just playing, man. I'm a big Kendrick fan. We all are. Kendrick sits in the same space for us. We the previous generation had a big 2. We have a big 3, and that pause. J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake, and they all sit. You're not hip hop if you're not a fan of these 3 people, right? But I guess what I wanted to get to was I didn't really realize, I'm like, you know what, Mike, this is interesting. So one part of the conversation that's going on between black people is, for the most part, we're going to just vote for Kamala because she's a black woman and everything, right? And it's very interesting in that is that at this time, and this is always weird how black people don't want to admit how much Kendrick used colorism, not so much to win the battle, but part of winning the battle is getting people on your side and getting people to agree with you and getting them to rally around the cause. You know what I mean? And you know that black people like to cosplay and play around with the idea of like conquering or defeating white men in battle. You know what I'm saying? So black people are not going to ever do that. So what they can do is attack a light-skinned person or put a light-skinned person down. You know what I'm saying? Because again, that light-skinned person is the closest thing that you have to a white person that you can get to. You know what I'm saying? Which is why, like, again, you always treat it weird, right? But anywho, I guess what I want to get to in terms of that is that, for one, we're not looking at what someone's track record actually is and what someone is actually about, right? And what I think is interesting is that, so for example, right, one reason why black people are getting behind Kamal is because that's black culture. You always rally behind. We always have to congratulate and encourage and embrace when black women do anything. Pretty much for the most part, it's understood that it should be a disproportionate amount of support in who she is and what she goes through. Because this is usually how black men are conditioned. And what's interesting is that black people are changing before our eyes. Now I think we don't realize that, it may be messy. It may not always. Ideas aren't always communicated perfectly. And you know what? In moments are not always perfect. and you have to get over a moment not being perfect. Like last Saturday, I had two battles. The other battle was super important to me, and it was like a long time coming. Pause. And I even put a little bread up to make it happen, just because I wanted it to happen. He was such a great opponent, and guy has views and everything. But the timing of the battle wasn't good. The venue was kind of cleared out. The energy was down, and people kind of at that point a little bit tired and overstimulated. You know what I mean? So by the time we went up and everything, and we had such a good battle, you know what I mean? And it had all the makings for such a great style clash. And and again, it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't as I just imagine the room being so much louder, right? And so much more people and more energy in the room. And I'm saying more adrenaline. And I never got that adrenaline rush because there was no energy in the room. But shout out to my opponent and shout out to the event though. You know what I'm saying? It was still a goodie, man. But I was just disappointed more so in that. I don't think I lost at all. I think I did really good. And but I was just disappointed that something I practiced so much for to have this perfect moment and it didn't happen. And I speak on that is because I think Black people have this thing where we get caught up on things not being perfect, so therefore we don't take action. Whatever drives you away from taking action, you need to move from that because again, taking action is a constant thing. People who are always doing find a way to always be doing stuff. I know it sounds really cliche, but I'm just saying. But people who are always doing, they move a certain kind of way, they talk a certain kind of way. You know what I'm saying? They just their lifestyle is just different. All right, but they create their own momentum, right? So anywho, so the mindset is always important. I know I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but the mindset is always important. But overall, when I read that comment about what Drake has done for Black culture, and people can really say, yo, Drake made a lot of careers that made other careers. Drake's family tree is crazy, bro. I'm saying whether people want to admit it or not, Drake helped get Wayne hot. All right, like Drake really helped solidify Wayne as for one, like a legit boss because he had Drake under him. You know what I'm saying? Like the greater your protege, when you got a great protege at the time, yo, you're unstoppable. You know what I'm saying? Because it's reminiscent of Rockefeller and the Rockefeller blueprint, where it was Jay and niggas wasn't really as nice as Jay, but they all were really actually once in a lifetime talents. They still are. Bleak is still one of the greatest. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not the most lyrical, but as far as one of them dudes, really talented, Benny Siegel, all them guys, But he was surrounded with goats. Even when Dipset was there for a short time, Kanye, Jay was always surrounded with goats, people who are great now, right? And Jay did that same thing. And it's kind of interesting. Like for the most part, you think about careers that were made from a feature or just working with someone. Yo, like Kendrick's catalog is a lot more like Nas's. Like not Nas, I think Nas is. I can't really think off the top of my head people that he really put on. You know what I mean? And Kendrick is also a part of that stuff, right? But again, I guess what I want to get to is I think it's a failure's mindset when you think it's okay to make decisions unfairly and without being informed. All right. And I guess the connection I want to make between Not Like Us and Drake is Drake and Kamala Harris is that obviously they're both biracial. Now another thing too is the pictures that were online before of Kamala Harris's parents was not that black guy. I'm gonna find that live with Six the Guys. I'm saying shows that this is picture of her parents and they both look Indian. You know I'm saying, and also Kamala Harris said, "I do not identify as a black woman," and I always was really amazed at how her vocal inflections were like that of a black woman. It was really weird. And she went to Howard, I think, some shit like that. So anyway, when we're selective about who we critique about a certain thing, it shows low character. And also it's just whack ass behavior, right? And another thing I want to comment on is is again when black people want to play the black police. All right. So again, this is a situation where like, yo, this person is mixed race. This person, like the people say in the comment section, like, yeah, that shoe would fit her. All right. But no, but the most interesting thing, the most important thing about people wanting to blindly vote for Kamala Harris is that I want to hear what are you going to do for the black family, man, or for the family unit, or just families in America in general. This is a crisis, and I don't believe it will be addressed because a part of the left's agenda, it seems like, is always to support whatever a woman comes up with. You know what I'm saying? And hey, you're right. Listen, everyone has a free choice, but bad decisions ruin lives of children. Like our parents' bad decisions, they haunt us for the rest of our lives. You know what I'm saying? You had to survive your parents' bad decisions. Isn't that a wild concept? You had to survive it. Not everyone can survive their parents' bad decisions. And I know for myself personally, when it comes to like policing, more specifically like black men's thoughts and actions and feelings have always been policed. I remember from the first time when I was younger, when I was told like, yo, this is how black people are supposed to think. Like it was the same people who were trying to help me kind of adapt to being in this terrible fucking school. I ain't gonna lie, it was terrible. These children were terrible. All right, and now I realize like, yo, these people came from really like rough households and everything, and and that's also how a good kid, you be a good kid in Mad City, shout out to Kendrick, right? But a good kid's potential won't be realized because you're in this environment where it's not like it's just kids finding themselves, it's kids being evil. It's not normal to want to communicate aggressively with a bunch of curse words, and all you want to do is be mean to people, you know what I mean, and be rude, be as rude as you possibly can, you know what I mean, and push people's boundaries, and that's what it is when you in the hood school. It's all about that, it's all about like the looming confrontation for the most part. And anywho, so I want to touch on that. Let me see something else, man. You know what? I'm gonna touch on like one more point real quick, and I think that if Kamala Harris, I mean, if she's going to be like the people's champ, right, for black women and stuff like that, right? I think what's going to help, you have to find some way to promote family to these girls, man, because these girls is out here losing. Let me show y'all this real quick.
I don't want this one. I don't want. Send another one, please. I promise I'm not being ungrateful. I don't want this one.
So it says, when God finally sent you a man,
send another one, please. I promise I'm not being ungrateful.
So don't get me wrong. This is the folly of black people in general. We play too much. Listen, that's a funny video, but that's not life. That's not how you actually make it. You don't sit around and wait for someone to pay your way completely. It's just actually a pretty bad strategy because it keeps you by yourself. The economy does not support one income. That's why you see a lot more places that when it comes to rent, they're looking for two incomes. So they'll say a minimum income of this much per month. They're looking for you to have two incomes in the house. All right, that's why it seemed like, yo, you can't afford certain things because it's just you in the house, or it's just you. All right, it is very expensive to live alone, especially if you got a car and car insurance and life and health insurance, all this different shit. It's a bunch of the things you work just to pay. You understand? And that's what needs to be promoted. Because, like, yo, like, again, that was a funny video, right? But this right here is the actual reality of,
like, the calls are really making me regret ever going to college, considering I'm not even doing anything in my degree. But like, these calls are just a reminder that I'm, like, first of all, doing nothing with my life. Second of all, broke as shit. And yes, I hee ha ha about it here, but like, it's literally not a joke. It's like embarrassing, and it's like the most stressful thing. And I never want to be the person that's like driven by money. Like, that's not me, but like sometimes I wish I was, so I wouldn't be in the position I am in. And like dealing with these calls and having to basically say my situation, like I literally cannot pay off an amount on these damn student loans. And then the fact that they're so relentless, they call every person in my family, they call people not related to me, but like associated with me. And I don't even know how it's just crazy. And it's like, I hate it. It's like you're coming at me for my own little debt when this country's in debt. Like, it's so frustrating. And it gets me so angry. And literally, it's like, I avoid these calls at all times. They send me into full-on panic attacks. But then sometimes I just have to make the call because they're calling everyone else in my life.
Well, first of all, I was with you. I'm gonna stop right there. I don't think they can't call everyone in your life. Whatever. First of all, that doesn't make any sense. She, you see what I'm talking about? It's going crazy. So, this is the context. For now, she is working as a waitress at Hooters. I don't know why they put an exclamation point, but said, for now, she's working as a waitress at Hooters. I guess you got to yell it. Let's do it again. It felt good. For now, she's working as a waitress at Hooters. Note, her degree is in psychology. TikTok, IMB Sosa. All right. Yo, the advice in the comment sections is terrible. I've been here before. Block them, sis. Write a letter letting them know that you do not want them contacting you on your cell phone, and list any other phone numbers, your family and associates you don't want them to contact you on. It gets better from here, sis. I promise. You know what? We gonna just stay there. We gonna stay there. I brought this young lady up because this is what's going on with a lot of young women, and trying to convince women that having a family and putting it onto a family is a fool's errand, or you shouldn't do it, or slavery and whatnot. It's destroying America. It's destroying young men and women. The men are not going to. If a war breaks out, the men ain't trying to fight no war like that. There's nothing to fight for. They don't got no family. Because I had commented about like, yo, if you make $16 an hour, it's not a lot of money. But if you and your man make $16 an hour, now that's $32 an hour between the two of y'all, and y'all both work 40 hours a week together, right? And let's say y'all don't live lavish, but together y'all can afford a studio apartment. Together, y'all both can afford to have to save up for a car. Together, y'all can afford to live on your own. Together, human beings have always done good at better as a group. And Kamal needs to be addressing this kind of stuff right here because it's important. Because how are we going to thrive? How are we going to have a future? Now, don't get me wrong. That girl obviously has some mental health problems and whatnot. And she's probably suffering from paranoia, it seems. Cause I'm like, they can't call everyone in your family. I mean, I don't know if she's exaggerating. I don't know if she means like your mom co-signs, so they call them mom too. She might be talking about the people who co-signed the loan, because I'm like, they can't. How would they find these numbers? I'm like, they're not investigating you. They just trying to, But also, she also made an interesting point when she said, yeah, how they going to be calling me about this debt when this country's in debt? Fam, those two things are not related. And that's the kind of thinking you come up with when you're not effectively problem solving. Those are thoughts of the week. When you ask those kind of questions, it doesn't matter. Your obligations are your obligations. It makes more sense to enjoy life and spend more time problem solving. But anywho, I wanted to touch on this real quick, man. I thought it was really interesting, just all the support for Kamala Harris and everything with her being mixed race, and we're coming off of, we're really the beef with, not even beef, the battle with Drake and Kendrick really exposed how bigoted black people can be, how ignorant black folks can be, and how much other black people can be pressured into believing something because they hear everyone else saying it. I think like being a part of the black YouTube space really helped me to realize how many of my thoughts are my own how easily influenced I can be. Everyone can be influenced. It takes time to be able to think for yourself. And again, I never said I mean, I wanted to enjoy the battle, and that was most my thought on it. I'm like, I know better than to argue someone's personal opinions. It's weird. Everyone has their own opinion. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't impressed with. I wasn't like overly. I wasn't like blown away by like the Kendrick tracks, and I always knew that Drake and Kendrick battle. Drake is gonna be more direct. The Bill is like remember what he's talking about. You know what I mean? He's gonna make really good points, and it's gonna sound good. And you know, and I always knew it would go like that. But when I saw people kind of get pulled into basically the possibility for the argument for the win, and it also taught me again how differently you see someone when you have when you put them on a pedestal, when you have it, when you elevate them in your mind and everything. So it's really interesting. And even when it comes to like voting left, like it's always crazy for the most part that black folks kind of just make the assumption that you have to be a Democrat or have to be on the left, and you can't just be a person. And one of the reasons I realized that we can't have conversations about religion and politics and whatnot is because we're not genuinely trying to learn from each other, and we're not genuinely trying to hear each other out. That's something that takes time and maturity. That's what I learned from this Drake and Kendrick thing. When you can't, like first of all, discrediting someone and not acknowledging someone's effort and talent, that's a form of hate. Okay, because we've all experienced someone trying to tell you when your outfit was fly that it wasn't fly, or when you did something that was good that it wasn't good. We've all experienced that shit before. Stop lying. Don't lie to me, Craig. Stop lying. All right, get you a shirt that says "Stop lying." All of you. But we've all experienced it, right? And when someone does that, why are they doing it? They're doing that because they want to hurt your feelings. Why do you want to hurt your feelings? Because that's what, you know what I mean? What's the motivation behind that? You understand? So with that battle, what I saw was the people's willingness to discredit the greatness of Drake. Are you serious? Like, fam, it's 2024. Drake is still dominant. And not only that, you're taking this from someone who's being made relevant by him again. Because Drake made Kendrick relevant. Kendrick might never blew up if it wasn't for them cosigns, bro. Because he was signed to Dre. Dre is notorious for not doing shit for his artist. Or not blowing his artists up. Dre had mad artists that supposed to blow up. Dre had bust at one point. Anywho, we almost at a half hour here, man. I just want to touch on this, John. Pause. And let me share, like, share, and subscribe. I love y'all. The channel is growing. We having a good time. I'll see y'all in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? My path riders, path trainers. Y'all on the path train. Get on the path train. I'm trying to figure out like a name for us, man. But I'm gonna figure it out, man. I'm gonna go hire a marketing team. Y'all be safe, be cool, get your steps in, do some planks. You're gonna feel better than chant 9 and kill. Peace, y'all. Have a good day. Bye.